I'm gonna do my WWE Monday Night Raw review. The show just went off the air, but I'm gonna talk about the show tonight. We're gonna talk about the news and rumors. We're gonna talk about the build to Survivor Series. We're gonna talk about the Division and the feud going into Survivor Series in 3 weeks. Now, this video will be about an hour and 20 minutes. This video has been sponsored by my favorite podcasters and other YouTubers like Solomon Octor, JD from New York, Good My Work Commentary, Fightful Pro Wrestling, Wrestling Inc., Post Wrestling, No DQ, and my other favorite YouTubers that I know of. Now make sure you guys hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section if y'all want to see more. Now, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. I actually had to pause it. I had to go back and look at some of the matches tonight. Monday Night Raw was fine. It was alright. It wasn't anything that special really. The build between Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed is very good. The build between Gunther and Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight title. Now they advertised it for Survivor Series, so we'll be on the pay-per-view in 3 weeks. We have Damage Control against Pure Fusion Collective. They had a 6-woman tag tonight. We got the storyline with the Final Testament in the Miz because they want a piece of Y6. So that feud being set up. Don't know why the Miz is still involved in this. It looks like they're setting up Braun Breaker and Sheamus to go at it for the Intercontinental Champion. Because they had a match on Wednesday for the Speed title. I think it was a Speed match. It was on Wednesday. Now that match was teased tonight. And for the Bloodline, they're trying to find a 5th member for War Games. So it looks like it may be 5 men. I thought it was gonna be 4 men, but it might be 5 men for the Bloodline. Sammy and the Usos are looking for a fifth man. They tried talking to some people. They tried talking to Seth Rollins, but he said no. And then Braun Breaker. I think we all know where this is gonna lead to. It's gonna lead to The Rock. Now The Rock was mentioned tonight because he was in a magazine. They advertised a movie, the red one. Oh wait. Alright. Let me know y'all can hear this segment. Now here's that storyline with the Final Testament beating down the Miz. The light turned off, and now you see the Y6. Can you guys hear it? Alright, listen. Hold on. Alright, look at this. The Y6 and the Final Testament. Now this is gonna be a great feud. This is gonna be an awesome feud. I'm only gonna show y'all this picture, and then I'll go back to myself. Want you guys to hear the audio. Alright, there's about to be a brawl. It's about to be a crazy brawl with these two factions. Uncle Howdy. Both of them are in each other's face. These guys are talking trash. This is gonna be a great feud. Can y'all hear it? Oh, the mid guy won. That chant made you suck. Oh, I hit the block. Man, this block going crazy. So I get the main will help him. So both factions are brawling right now. The Miz is helping Karrion Kross and the Final Testament. Oh, they are? The show is kind of boring. I heard the taping on that Raw right now. They are? Are they really taping Monday Night Raw? I'm sorry, I'll read your comment. Is Raw really being taped next week? All right. Oh, okay. All right, the brawl still going on with the Final Testament and the Y6. Damn. Hold on. Working together and now embracing and celebrating what they were able to do to the Wyatt Six. As well, they should. So this was the end result of the brawl. The Final Testament, they looked strong. They said this is the first time that the Wyatt Six were taken out. So the Final Testament and the Miz were to take down the Wyatt Six. They beat them down. I can't wait for this feud. This feud can be good. Give me a crazy feud. Karen Cross has done pretty good with the Final Testament. He's been good on the mic. I think we will get the events of one-on-one with him and Uncle Howdy. Crowd is chanting "Mid You Suck." Obviously, Final Testament are heels, and Wyatt says I think they're baby faces. And people love Uncle Howdy. 4% in reward. Whoa. Hold on a second. We have a backstage segment with the Bloodline and Seth Rollins. I don't know why. I wonder where that going. Hold on. Hold on a second. Give me a minute, Cat. I'm trying to look at this segment with Seth Rollins. Oh, God damn it, hold on. Give me a minute, Cat. It might be Seth Rollins. Listen, I know you don't like Roman Reigns. I can't stand Roman. Why don't we be the ones? Join forces together. And let's take them out. So you and I, we haven't always gotten along. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Something I didn't tell Sami Zayn earlier tonight when he asked me to join his team. The next time I'm in the ring with Roman Reigns, it will be to stomp his head into the ground. Never again in my life will I team with Roman Reigns. But I will never join forces with a wannabe Roman Reigns. Ooh. Man, look at this face off with Solo, Jacob, and Seth Rollins. Now this is what the show would really build about. Like, okay, who's gonna be the fifth person? Who's gonna join Solo bloodline? Who's gonna join woman bloodline? Who's gonna be that fifth person? So now both sides of the bloodline have tried to recruit Seth Rollins tonight. Both have received similar. It turns out that next week on Raw. Wait, it did give me a mask or just like a face to face? Next Monday, Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed tail the tape and go through their Raw history. Now, it did give me a mask next week. Face of 330-pound big Bronson Reed. They will go at it again as you see the tail of the. That is next week on Monday Night Raw. That is all of these. And so is this was Raw. So next Monday we're gonna have some good matches. We got Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins going at it. Braun Breaker and Sheamus going at it for the Intercontinental Championship. So the only reason why this match is happening because what the match they had on Wednesday and match. That's why we're getting this match and they teased it. Now Sheamus hasn't really done much to get an Intercontinental Championship, but this match is happening. I hope this is the start of their feud or story with Sheamus trying to win the Intercontinental Championship they've been trying to for years now. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a great match. Great match for Braun Breaker.
I can say Sheamus is an old man. That might be true. But he's an old man who just keeps on getting better. Next week on Raw, Breaker puts his Intercontinental title on the line against the Celtic Warrior. Can Sheamus win the one title he's never held before? Yeah, Sheamus, I've been here for 15 years. Been here for 15 minutes.
All right.
That's Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez.
Alright, so we're at the main event of the show. Bianca Belair and Jay Carter will defend the women's tag team titles against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez or Gonzalez. I think they said Gonzalez, but it's Rodriguez.
This one really is up for grabs. Absolute bedlam everywhere you look, but this match is continuing and the goal is still on the line. Jay Carter in big trouble here. Liv. A whole lot of traffic.
The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
So Bianca and Jay, they retain Nia Jax. Naomi was there. So Naomi came out to try to stop him. Io Sky, she came out. Raquel, Nia Jax.
To take Nia Jax down. Doubling up for the suplex of Nia Jax. And the women's tag team champions stand tall with a little help from their friends.
I wonder what the point of that.
Naomi and Io. And that is how they close out the effort from Liv and Raquel.
So that's how Monday Night Raw closed. The babyface is standing tall. Bianca and Jay retain their titles against Liv and Raquel. We have Naomi out there. Io Sky. Is Io Sky a babyface? I thought he was a heel. Well, it seems like the American Tour are babyfaces now if to celebrate with the babyface team here. Why is Naomi on this show? Why is he helping them? Nia Jax, she had no business being on this show. Why is he out there? Shouldn't she be on SmackDown? I mean, she is the women's champion. She has no business being out here. Don't tell me she's going after the tag team titles. Makes no sense why the women's champion from SmackDown is on this show. That was not necessary. Alright, since Monday Night Raw is over, American Dad, that TV show American Dad on TBS, it's a new show that is on. Season 19, episode 3, I got in front of me. It's been a while since I watched American Dad. They made like 19 seasons. I'm surprised they're still making this show. Okay, well, now let's get on with the show. Now here are the podcasters who did their reviews on the show. Bloodline is recruiting big stars. Rollins recruited for War Game. Now I will go through all the podcasters. I'll talk about the segments on the show. W Force's huge AW changes. John Moxley uploaded a 5-on-5 War Game confirmed. So it looks like that there will be the War Games will be 5-on-5.
Modern look. Thick, absorbent layers. But these napkins aren't just.
WWE is forcing a huge AEW change, plus so much more to discuss.
Alright, so first I'm gonna show you all the other podcasters like Joe Cronin. He's gonna do his review.
Because Punk is the one that created the Shield. Punk would be like the third man. Yeah, that's a great idea, Pacharo.
They'll give my work commentary.
Hey there.
The 12-year anniversary of a YouTube channel.
Jump over there. I just wondered.
Coming in. I'd like it to be The Rock. My feeling is that it will be Cody and Kevin Owens. We'll see. We'll talk about this more on the No DQ review. So thank you for that, Building Nexus. Stay tuned. No DQ review. I'm sure we'll be talking about the possibilities.
Pretty much out of it, but this is going to get the full WBE treatment of this visionary.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, what sort of bias?
Product and the best TV show. Because we are producing like weekly television with Reality of Wrestling. So I think this program is great for everyone, and
So we got some news and rumors here in WWE. Backstage details on planned interment on new WWE Independent Development Program. WWE NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez named new 4 Horsewoman. Backstage update on the 3-part WWE contract status. And a WWE provides update on Randy Orton after Kevin Owens power driver attack on SmackDown. Updates on the Women's Roster Knowledge, the WWE Women's US title.
For chats and upper chats in. Drop your fruit emojis, all that stuff. Sorry to play the hokey pokey with you guys there, but leave a thumbs up on this video. We greatly appreciate it. Also, we did announce today that Denise will be replaced effectively as she is summarily and unprofessionally walking out. Well, what, Denise?
no comments. I gave you like 5 weeks notice, by the way. You didn't tell anybody that I gave you like 5 weeks notice that I was leaving.
I mean, to be fair, you did, like, we discussed, like, what it would be appropriate for you to, depart and all that stuff. And, but we have, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do like when Razor and Diesel left WWF. I'm just going to bring a fake Denise out.
Yeah, just find whatever little girl with brown hair you can find and just in here.
I'll get the AI.
You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? Okay, have you seen those videos where like creators and influencers they go on? They're like, "This is why I left BuzzFeed." Yes. I'm gonna do one. This is why I left Fightful, so everyone can think that I'm gonna talk all this shit.
I almost did one of those. I worked at a GNC back in the day. And I almost did one of those videos, like why I left GNC. Like because I had told somebody the story of it, and they're like, "This is really fascinating. You should do a video." And I recorded the video, and I was like, "This video sucks, bro. I ain't doing this." I was like, "No chance I do this." But
And I'm gonna put you in the thumbnail with like a face like this, like an ugly face, yeah. And I'm
like
gonna
one of
put
those.
like truth revealed finally, the truth about Fightful.
So we did unveil today as well a view of wrestling.
Alright, so we got Jenny from New York. Will remain Uzi for Sammy. 5-on-5 Bloodline War Games is confirmed. Oh yeah, I forgot. Here are the news and rumors I forgot to mention. That was AEW. Wait, I think I already talked about that. Yeah, I did. SmackDown, I already talked about it. Tony living in denial. 4320. 523,000 viewers. AEW rating disaster. SmackDown is confirmed for 3 hours.
10,000 years before the birth of one of Jamie's, we created a network of influence.
The AEW and NXT ratings disaster from Wednesday night showed you exactly why. Fans are losing interest in the overall AEW product on Wednesday night. It was a bloodbath when NXT moved off of Tuesday to Wednesday for 1 week only due to the presidential election, and it was not a good look for Tony Khan and AEW. We got the full ratings breakdown right here on Off the Script. Also, updates on Rhea Ripley and a timetable for her return back to Monday Night Raw. WWE has some major plans for Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 41. We got the latest on the WWE ID program. Why was Will Ospreay off of AEW television for several weeks following their last pay-per-view? And we got an update on AEW's Forbidden Door. They want to hold the Forbidden Door show at the O2 Arena in London, England, but they can't put tickets on sale because WWE announced a Road to WrestleMania European tour that will take them from the beginning of March all the way up until the third week of that month, and AEW can't do anything about it. We got the latest on all that right here on Off the Script, and we will start with Rhea Ripley. She suffered a fractured orbital bone in the last several weeks. Nobody knows where this injury occurred. I'm assuming it happened in a match with Liv Morgan or a scuffle with Raquel Rodriguez during their feud over the WWE Women's World Championship. Fans saw Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez backstage with baseball bats, implying that they attacked Rhea Ripley in the NXT parking lot. This was a situation that WWE filmed to take Rhea Ripley off of television. She was lying next to her car and had a cut on her head with blood pouring out of the wound. Although not confirmed, it is believed the injury happened in a headbutt spot on the October 21st episode of Monday Night Raw. The injury, WWE had to make changes to the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. The former Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley was slated to work a match with Raquel Rodriguez at Crown Jewel. I had called that several weeks before Crown Jewel actually happened, and I felt that Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez would be a good buffer before some sort of match at the Survivor Series, whether it's a War Games match between Team Rhea and Team Liv, or just a standard traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, again, where it would be Team Rhea versus Team Liv. And if Team Rhea won, then Rhea Ripley would get another championship match at Saturday night's main event, the Women's World Championship. PW Insider's reporting that there is still no timetable for Rhea Ripley's return, and the eternal hope is that the injury may not be as bad as initially feared. And Rhea Ripley right now is earmarked for a big role at WrestleMania 41. So A, it's good news that it's not as serious, or they believe it's not as serious as originally reported, because she desperately needs to be back in that women's division. If you look at the landscape of the women's divisions right now in WWE, I would say SmackDown's women's division is a little bit stronger than the Monday Night Raw women's division. And they're missing Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch and Asuka. You don't want that for any roster, honestly. I am personally over the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley situation. I think the championship needs to come off of Liv Morgan. I think we've seen the story play out as far as we can with Liv Morgan as the world champion.
If WWE wanted to do Liv and Rhea, and if the plan was Rhea and Liv at WrestleMania, they have bought themselves plenty of time to get us there because nobody knows when Rhea Ripley is going to be back on Monday Night Raw. If that is the plan, does she win the Royal Rumble? Does she win the Elimination Chamber? I don't really want to see someone like Rhea Ripley win the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber because that would be WWE resting on their laurels and going to their tried and true. I think we are beyond that. I would love to see Rhea take the championship off of Liv Morgan. Hopefully the injury is not as serious as they originally reported. She comes back before the Royal Rumble and wins the Women's Championship and gets something new, gets something fresh to do at WrestleMania. I hope that the injury is something she can come back from and be back in plans on television. Saturday night's main event on Long Island, December 14th, or the Monday Night Raw debut on Netflix, January 6th. I think those are the two best places to see all of this play out and end it once and for all. I think taking it up until Easter Sunday, WrestleMania weekend, that is a little overkill. And I don't think there will be any interest in Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan at that point. And honestly, I feel like the interest levels are decreasing week by week just right now. So I think the best opportunity for them to take the championship off of Liv Morgan would be Saturday night's main event or Monday Night Raw, the debut on Netflix. We will see what happens there. But Rhea Ripley is desperately needed back on the Monday Night Raw women's side. Moving on. Let's talk about the ratings for AEW and NXT from this Wednesday. It was a bloodbath, to say the least. And I know a lot of people don't really cover the ratings. I don't really care to cover them myself, but this is something that needs to be stated. And the AEW ratings on Wednesday are nothing more than an embarrassment. It is their own night. It is in their own backyard. And they lost to WWE's developmental system. And yes, NXT is a developmental system. They lost to NXT on their own night, and they got slaughtered. What does that say about the overall vibe and the overall interest in the AEW product? It's not there. And everything that I've stated, everything that Jesse stated, everything that we've talked about collectively on Wednesday nights, we are being proven right more and more and more every single week. And Tony Khan is living in denial about how great his product is. But the power rests with Tony Khan. And the power will remain with Tony Khan. And Tony Khan will not relinquish any of that power because this is what he's wanted to do since he was born. This is what he's wanted to do since he exited the womb. He wanted to run a pro wrestling company. He wanted to be a pro wrestling promoter. He wanted to be in the pro wrestling space and have a bunch of toys to play with in real life.
There's a reason why people not
That's
watching
exactly
the
what
product.
he's
People
got.
are more interested.
He doesn't give a shit if it's right, if it's wrong, if you like it, if you don't like it. He does not care. And it's showing more and more and more every single week. And the product is showing it more and more every single week because it's depressing, it's lifeless, it's soulless. And there's not really any substantial story to really sink your teeth into and get excited about on a week-to-week basis. For the second time in a month, NXT and AEW went head-to-head. This time on Wednesday night, with NXT preempted by the network CW for the 2024 United States presidential election coverage. Last month, it was Dynamite switching nights, presenting their third consecutive title Tuesday as a result of the World Series. Despite the branding and a decent helping of star power on the card, the ratings results were disastrous, with Dynamite recording its lowest overall viewership in history.
I might as well just end it out. Think I played that long enough.
And NXT rating.
That match, and then to the final, the rubber match at Survivor Series, whatever that match is. It's I do not see Seth Rollins getting involved with the bloodline story. Not right now. Could down the line, but not right now. A lot happened. A lot happened on tonight's show. Even though I did kind of feel like
the wrestling was very, I won't say underwhelming. If I
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
you're gonna take credit for bro?
Yes, I'm
When you might be like, oh, just let it go. Denise is like, nah. Is there because she's got money in the bank. But like, why is Nia there? Why is Naomi there? Like, what kayfabe reason for them being there?
well, Naomi's friends with Bianca and Jade.
Sure, she's on SmackDown. Why is she there?
I know, but she's kind of been a part of this whole thing too, where like she's kind of gotten thrown into the drama with Nia and with Tiffany. She kind of had a thing with Tiffany too. So I can see how they would kind of like try to bend you in all these different directions just to make it happen here. Like that's how I feel like that's what they're doing here. They're kind of being like, oh, this person associated with this person, so here we go. We're throwing this all in together. Like I'm telling you, even when I was looking at this whole melee of women all, get involved here, it took me even a second to put together who would be on whose team, because at first I was counting some people that wouldn't even be on the team. And then I'm like, okay, no, this is what the team's looking like. And so we finally got it. But yeah, it is what it is. They're just kind of throwing it together, and they've just done this really in the last few weeks. It doesn't really feel like, here's the thing, like with the men's war game, the bloodline, I feel like there's so much in that. Like there's a purpose for this to be a war game. There's a purpose, there's a reason for it. There's no reason. It's mainly just, well, we need a women's war games, and so that's right. That's why we're putting together this match. But there's no real, like, for example, if one team loses, is it really going to like change the trajectory of things for you? No, probably not.
Not really. It kind of waters it down.
Yes, this is exactly what that is. Versus instead with the men's bloodline story war games that we're getting, it's like, oh shit, Solo Sikoa's team wins. This would be huge for Solo Sikoa. But if Roman Reigns wins, he gets his revenge, and they're the real bloodline. See what I'm saying? Like there's consequences to that victory. Versus this one, it's just a match, which I'm fine with in a way, because I know all of these women are going to kill it. They're going to have a fun match, but there are no real, like, legitimate consequences in terms of like what we like in terms of the storyline and how it's going to affect things moving forward. I'm assuming, Sean, that this was supposed to be Rhea Ripley's team going into War Games, right?
Well, spoiler alert, everybody. Cover your ears.
Back?
Yes, she's back.
What?
She's
What?
back on this second set of taping. Again, spoiler alert. There you go. The girls came out. Naomi and Jade were like short a woman, and Liv said that nobody was going to help them, and then Rhea showed up.
So then it is 5-on-5 then, right? Because I thought it was going to be 4-on-4.
I guess so. I don't know. Hell if I know. I'm not there. But Rhea Ripley did show up there. Yeah.
I thought she was going to be out for like a couple months.
I don't have any concept of like how long out or anything like that. Like I had never been told how long she was going to be sidelined or anything like that. Was just heard that she had some sort of injury, and they were sorting out like how long it could be, possibly. So I don't know the situation surrounding that or anything like that. So
okay, well now this changes everything that I just said, because now you still have Team Rhea and Team Liv, and of course they've been having this feud for however long. So now this does change things. So I went on a whole 5-minute rant for nothing, because now it's null and void. Yes, now there does mean something. If you have Rhea's team win, she gets her leg up on her nemesis Liv. If you have Rhea's team win, she continues this crushing of Rhea Ripley.
yeah, but also it's like, why does Rhea need everybody else? I mean, maybe because Raquel is there, but like, what Rhea have to do with all these other people?
Well,
not shit, Denise.
Hold on.
Thing.
Hold on.
Look at
We
the
got
forced war games
Bianca,
thing.
Naomi. Who's the other one?
Io,
Io.
who was in a completely different stable. by the way.
Well, they're all good wrestlers. They have that in common.
Of course they do. They're all fantastic.
There you go. That's the one thing that's connecting them all.
But that's it. So we will monitor the Rhea Ripley thing again. I had very little information as was going on outside of they knew that she was out of action before the last time we saw her on Raw because she wasn't brought to Raw. She filmed something there. And then they didn't let her get physical on the NXT thing. So there you go. But I'm definitely more interested in it with Rhea involved, for sure. Definitely more interested in it. If I were a betting man, I would put that money on Team Rhea. And guess what? I am a betting man. BetOnline.ag is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get going to be close. And right now, John Jones is I think like, oh, okay, six woman tag, and I didn't realize the gravity of that. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, Dakota is back. It's great to see her back. She looked fantastic. Her fire up here on the hot tag was really the highlight of this to me. But Raphael says, anybody find out what they're purely fusing as a collective yet? Remember when Shayna was big? Remember when Zoe took out Trish? The North remembers. First off, what did you think of Dakota's comeback?
I was very happy to see Dakota Kai come back because she had been gone not gone, but she was out of action physically for a long time. And she was obviously still on camera, which was great. I love that they were able to keep her as a character, a big part of the Damage Control Bailey storyline. So that was great. But then, her getting hurt again and having to be taken out, that's always unfortunate because you don't want to see back-to-back situations where people are gone back-to-back because then it just feels like they were gone like the whole time, even if I liked it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I almost forgot what Dakota Kai could do as a wrestler because I feel like it's been forever since I've really seen her wrestle, which is not even too long, but it still feels that way. I still feel bad for the Pure Fusion Collective because I just feel like the name really didn't even give them a chance, Sean. They didn't even get a chance with this name. I truly believe that tomorrow they said, we're calling them something else. I don't know, some other cool name. I can guarantee people would go, you know what? Let's give them a chance because they are a cool set of girls that can all wrestle and they're all so aggressive and so mean looking. But
they were wearing, I think Zoe was wearing a sports fit. Brody Lee, Luke Harper was in jeans and a beater. Like, it became their thing. But if you do that on like the lowest level of the indies, there's some old timer that'll just bury you for it. Just completely bury you for it.
I mean, I get it because like you're supposed to have your gear is what's gonna make you look like a star. You don't want to look like your everyday Joe Schmo who's going through the DMV. No, you want to look like a star. So usually, your gears.
That has been put out there, and I'm hoping it's a floating title if they're going to do it. And Jay, they need to get more women there. So, Fightful Selected reported in our Fightful Scoops thread. Check out Fightful Select, by the way, guys. Best $5 a month in the business. That as of like 6 p.m. tonight, the women I talked to in the roster, they had heard no peep of an Intercontinental title. So all we've got now is the U.S. title that has been put out there, and I'm hoping it's a floating title if they're going to do it, because one of the women on Raw actually said to me, SmackDown's got the Speed title over there as well, which doesn't seem like a lot, but to some of us, that's the only amount of time we get anyway, and that is a legit.
That's really sad, actually.
But Denise, I have long this year been complaining about how they don't develop contenders for the world title. So I'm fearful they won't do it for the U.S. title either, and they'll just be like, well, here you go, here you go, here you go. If they make it like the open challenge title, well, that's okay. But I want to see some real juice put into developing contenders. That's what
I 100% get what you're saying because that's exactly how I felt. I didn't want it to be like how it was for a while with that women's tag team division. That's sort of what I correlated to, where it kind of felt like just anybody can have it as long as you're some sort of a makeshift tag team. As long as you're a pair, take the belts because we need someone to be champions. I definitely do not want that for the Women's United States Championship. I think right now the SmackDown division is doing like a far better job than the Raw Women's division in terms of like giving a little bit more to the women, making it feel like there means something a little bit more in that part of the roster. But again, there still needs a lot of work that needs to be done there. But I think after I started to like think of names and people that could be Women's United States champion, I felt like all of a sudden there were more options than I had assumed that there were. So I kind of felt a lot better about the bout once I started thinking about all of the options of women for it to be U.S. champion versus the women's tag team titles is obviously a little harder because you got to get two people instead of one. So I don't want it to be like the women's tag titles where it's just, potatoed around or hot potatoed around. I want there to be real meaning for the women's championship, U.S. championship. And I want that bout or that champion to essentially be the thing that leads that person who holds it into the world title picture for the women. So we'll see what they do, but I hope they don't drop the ball on this. And I have a good feeling about it, if that helps.
Jay Beard says, been a long time since I caught the Raw Review live. I had to be here, say how much Denise will be missed by the Fightful fans. She absolutely will. She absolutely will. Vin says, SRS, I know you said AEW didn't care about losing to NXT, but is that more what they want us to believe? Tony's the same guy calling people bald assholes and obsessing over winning a website Booker of the Year at awards. Oh, listen, man, you all grasp at like the silliest bullshit. I swear to God. And I appreciate the super chat. I really do. But I just, that's never a thing that people bring up to me. People say, what's the internal reaction to the crowds? Nothing. They never talk about it. Should they be talking about it? Maybe. But like you're gonna sit here and say like what Tony Khan cares more than WWE? I mean, WWE's been releasing Fast Nationals to a cheese plate guide for years. Like you can't sit there and say that. WWE very clearly wants to compete and beat AEW. I think AEW should have promoted their show last week way better than they did. I think they should have built a better show than they did. Like
You're talking about Dynamite?
Yeah. Way better. Well, like you're gonna act like Tony Khan should never talk? Oh, hell no.
You may be on your period, but you don't have to settle for crappy period products, okay? You don't.
They are here in abundance. But the reason why, for anybody wondering why next week is a taped show, is because Triple H is giving everybody a holiday off because we are heading into Thanksgiving. And one of the initiatives of the company is to give back to its performers and give them more time at home with their families, as opposed to what Vince McMahon did. And he had everybody on the road basically up until the holiday. They celebrate the holiday, and then they're back on the road the very next day. So that's why we are getting a Monday Night Raw. They are absolutely killing the show with these tape shows because they don't feel like they should. On top of it being 2 hours, and they really haven't hit their stride even at 2 hours on Monday night.
Retirement match in 2025. We don't know when. There's no date. There's no extra man to be on their side in the War Games match. And tonight, both sides did a former World Heavyweight Champion in Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn tried to recruit Seth Rollins to the OG side. Solo Sikoa was there to try to recruit Seth Rollins over to his side. At the end of the night, Seth Rollins basically said, fuck you both. He's not interested in being on either side. Which doesn't mean, by the way, that he won't be. And we'll talk about why he may still end up in the War Games match. I still feel the same way that I felt on Friday. I don't think that you need to have 5-on-5 in the men's War Games this year. The battle lines have already been clearly drawn between Roman's crew and Solo's crew. I don't see the need to muddy it up by adding people that are just going to feel tacked on who are not part of the story. One thing they did do tonight, though, that I liked, they tried to build intrigue as far as both teams trying to vie for that fifth man. Who would it be, right? Teasing, who might the fifth person be? You got to go try to recruit. We have to try to make the pitch and recruit somebody to come to our side. We saw Seth Rollins. We saw Braun Breaker. There was even a backstage segment. If you blink, you missed it, but you see Jey Uso talking to Rey Mysterio in the background, maybe trying to entice him over to his side for War Games. So that I like, and it leaves you with the question now of who else might they go after? And ultimately, who do I think is going to end up being? We'll talk about that. The main event tonight was for the women's tag team titles. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending their titles against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, former women's tag team champions. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, although back then they were baby faces. That was the main event tonight, and you would think that a match like that, they would do a better job of building it up to something special, and they did a horrendous job. They did hardly nothing at all. They had a little, very brief video package earlier in the show. They threw a graphic up. That was it. That was it. This was a tag team championship match involving the women's world champion. You would think that they would do a better job of making it feel like, hey, this is kind of a special thing, and they didn't do that. And what we were left with at the end of the show, with all the talk about the Bloodline and their War Games match, and who's going to be the fifth man on either side, we now have a clear picture of what the women's War Games match is going to be at Survivor Series. There really has not been anything on these shows that would lead you to believe that we need a women's War Games match. And look, if there was nothing that compelling on the men's side, I would feel the same way and say, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a year that you skip. They had already announced it months ago, so we knew we were getting War Games. But there was really nothing that felt worthy of War Games on the women's side, except maybe you could have Team Raquel, or not Team Raquel, Team Rhea against Team Liv. Obviously, Raquel would be on Team Liv. Because Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan has been the #1 women's feud in this company now for months. For almost the entire year at this point. Unfortunately for them, Rhea Ripley went down with an injury. We don't know when she's going to be back. She may not be gone that long, but she will not be back in time for Survivor Series. So, not a doubt in my mind that the original idea here was going to be Team Rhea against Team Liv. And that went out the window. Goodbye. It grew wings and it flew away. So we know we're not getting that. So what we were left with here on this show tonight, it appears the makings of a women's War Games match on the babyface side. We'll have Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Io Sky, and Naomi, who's going to be challenging Nia Jax this Friday for the women's championship on SmackDown. And on the heel side, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. And obviously, they're going to have to go out and find a fifth person on either side because we got to have 5-on-5 in the War Games match. But you can see, coming into focus, what the women's teams are going to be. And, you know, you watch the end of the show and what they did, the way they slapped that ending together. I mean, they just had everybody running out there. I mean, there was a lot of head-scratching moments as far as what they did at the end of the show. The biggest one to me is having Bianca Belair pin the women's world champion, who has that championship on a show that technically Bianca is not even a part of. She's not even a member of the Raw roster. So that was weird. You know, Raquel was right there. They chose to pin Liv. But it's almost as if they sat around the writers' room and they realized, oh shit, we don't have Rhea Ripley. So we can't do the match that we wanted to do. So what are we going to do here for War Games? Let's just blend every women's program, every major women's program that we have right now in this company. Let's just blend it all together and we'll just call it War Games because we don't have anything else. And really, if they insist on doing a War Games, I guess they really don't. Anything else. And I threw the pitch out there last week about taking those women from NXT. match they did on the ECW Arena show this past week, making that War Games and giving NXT some rub at Survivor Series this year. They didn't go in that direction. I didn't think this was a great show. This was not a great episode of Raw, but they did announce 2 big matches for next week's show. So we already know what's coming up on the show next week, which is I believe that show is being taped tonight. So that is my understanding. You may see spoilers floating around. I haven't seen anything yet. I don't want to see them, but there may be spoilers, so just be aware of that. I believe they're taping a second episode of Raw tonight, which means it would be another taped episode next Monday. They might possibly be taping 2 episodes this Friday as well. The reason for that being that they may be giving the talent more time off heading into the Thanksgiving holiday, which is coming up not next week, but the week after. And so if that's true, and I don't see that confirmed anywhere, but if that's true, no complaints out of me. You want to give them some more time off around the holidays, I think that's fine. I don't know that they would be able to do that if Raw was still 3 hours, taping 2 3-hour shows back to back. Still liking the 2-hour format. I got no complaints about that. But next week's show is going to have Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. Rematch from Crown Jewel. They had a really good match on that show. Now they're going to run it back one more time. And Braun Breaker is going to defend his Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus, who has never in his career been the Intercontinental Champion. This is a WrestleMania match that they could build for Las Vegas next year. They already gave a 3-minute version of it away on Speed last week. They gave it away on Twitter. And now they're going to give away the match for the championship on what appears to be a taped show next Monday. Well, taped or live, doesn't really matter to me because I don't know why you would blow this match off on a random episode of Raw next week. But we're getting the match next week. Maybe that, you know what, maybe that's a sign that they really are going to go with Braun Breaker retiring Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania next year. So they don't want to do Breaker and Sheamus. They're going to do Breaker and Goldberg. Right? We know Goldberg is having his retirement match in 2025. We don't know when. There's no date. There's no time. WrestleMania would seem to be a likely choice. You could have it as an attraction on night 1 or an attraction on night 2.
Goldberg going after titles? He ain't winning
So
no
they
more
already
titles.
have
So they
plans for
have
Braun Breaker. It's possible that they just want to get the match out of the way now. But to me, you can absolutely build that up as a WrestleMania match with Sheamus winning the title for the first time. He ain't winning shit next week. Sheamus is not winning a damn thing next week. The match itself, though, should be good. I'm looking back. It's very rare that we get a Sheamus match on TV or anywhere that is not at least very good. You know, when he goes out there, and it doesn't matter if it's Pete Dunne or if it's Ludwig Kaiser or Gunther or Braun Breaker next week, the guy knows how to put on a good match. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, interesting to note, no mention, unless it was very fleeting and I missed it, no mention of the new Women's United States Championship that Nick Aldis announced on SmackDown this past Friday. And also no announcement of a new Women's Intercontinental title. I know some people thought maybe we would get Adam Pearce coming out on Raw tonight and announcing, well, we're going to have our own mid-card championship for the women and making an Intercontinental title. We did not get that. Now, Michael Cole did mention, I went back to verify this because I missed it the first time. But on SmackDown Friday night, after the video package, they came back to the announcers. And Michael Cole did mention Raw and SmackDown talent with respect to the U.S. title. So it does sound like, and they have not confirmed this yet, but it does sound like that championship is going to be defended against both Raw and SmackDown talent. That the championship will be defended across at least those 2 brands, which is the way it should be. We do not need 2 mid-card singles women's championships unveiled at the same time. For now, 1 is fine. That's what it sounded. But interesting. There was no mention of any of this on the show tonight, which I think pretty much, to me, would seem to indicate that the title is going to float. Let's float on into this review, shall we? Because this is your Monday Night Raw review for November 11th. Defending the World Heavyweight title against Damian Priest, which is the match that we had at SummerSlam. Except Priest went in as the champion and Gunther went in as the challenger. So Priest said that it was advertised tonight that Gunther was going to address him, so he wanted to come out and hear what he had to say in person. And he basically cut Gunther's promo for him. He said, "Let me guess, you're going to call me street trash. You're going to call me a Latino thug. You're going to talk about my parents. You're going to talk about all this that was the last time." And he's going on and on and on about Damian Priest. He's more fired up than Gunther is. And finally, Gunther puts his hand out and he cuts him off. And he starts saying some stuff to him off mic that we really can't hear. He's kind of dressing him down. Kaiser called Priest street trash, and so Priest decked him and then knocked him out of the ring. And it looked like Gunther was going to take a shot at him from behind. He stopped short. Priest turned around. Gunther backed off. Priest was ready to fight. Gunther just smirked, and he left the ring. I thought Damian Priest was really good here in this promo, and he had something that Gunther did not have. He had confidence. He was projecting great confidence here in this segment. And it looks like the story they're going with here is that Gunther, he's off his game. He's starting to have self-doubt creep in. And at least they're weaving the crown jewel stuff into this story here, so it's not just a complete waste. You know, he lost to Cody Rhodes in Saudi Arabia, and they're working that into the storyline that, you know, maybe he's not the same person that Damian Priest stepped into the ring with back in August. Maybe he just doesn't have that same self-confidence that he used to project whenever he would come out to the champion is the underdog. He's at a disadvantage here going into Survivor Series. That's the story they're trying to tell. And that works for Survivor Series. If you want to try to portray Gunther as less than, you know, he's not a killer anymore. He's not the final boss anymore like he used to be. No offense, Rock. Gunther was the final boss before Rock was. That's fine if you want to tell that story for Survivor Series. Just don't keep it going after Survivor Series. I don't think you want to completely kill the vibe, you know, from Gunther. But also teasing more issues between him and Kaiser. I don't know if it's going to lead to anything major. I don't know if it's going to lead to a split between the two. Kaiser is still his lapdog. He's still his lackey. Nothing has really changed in the way that he's portrayed. But this is not, you know, the first time in the last few weeks that they have projected some level of discourse between these two on TV, where Gunther either insults him, cuts him off, walks away from him. So that's something to keep an eye on. Kathy Kelly interviewed Io Sky and Kairi Sane backstage at the Gorilla position. They were very quickly joined by another member of Damage Control, who we have not seen in many months. She showed up, and she was very happy to see. And then he walks off. And as they cut back to the arena, you can hear Wade Barrett on commentary. But the minute
tension between all of these egos and emotion, and the fact that the bloodline has run amok on Friday Night SmackDown, and Roman has nobody to blame but himself. His ego is tremendous. He's not a changed man. It should have been Paul Heyman to reunite all of them a week or two before Survivor Series. They had 3 weeks. They had 3 shows to do that story, 3 weeks to tell that story, and they rushed to tell all of that in one night. And now the story is, who's the 5th man? Okay, great. I enjoy a nice cliffhanger. I enjoy a nice dash of unpredictability. But I'd rather get the emotion and the story in getting everybody back together, getting that moment that we got at the end of the show happening because of Paul Heyman, not because of, oh my God, Sami Zayn's out there. He booted Solo Sikoa in the face. Let's all throw the ones in the air and let's go off the air. I feel like things are just kind of, they're just throwing darts at the dartboard now. I feel like WWE is in autopilot mode right now, and they're in cruise control, and they're waiting for Netflix, especially when it comes to Monday night. They're just waiting for Netflix, man. Let's get through Survivor Series. Let's get through Saturday Night's Main Event, and then we'll call it a year. We had a great year. Man. We'll take the next 4 weeks off, and then we'll hit it hard on January 6th. Come on, man. You want people invested in this story, and then you want to start rushing shit towards the end of this thing. That's not the way to keep people's interest. Who's going to be the fifth man? Who's going to be the fifth man? Well, clearly, Sami Zayn had somebody in mind, and that person was someone that we talked about on Friday night. That person was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins flat out said, Roman Reigns has not changed. He's actually disappointed in Sami Zayn, that Sami Zayn can't see that. And the fact that he's teaming with Roman Reigns is sad because he's doing exactly what he did the first go-around to Sami Zayn and everybody else. Now, he's just using everybody to get back what he had. He will never fight alongside Roman Reigns again. So he said, no, I'm not going to be the fifth man. Now, if Seth Rollins was the fifth man, then that would probably lead to rumors of The Rock being the fifth man for Solo Sikoa. Before I continue, Rock is not going to be the fifth man on Solo Sikoa's team. He's not. So you can throw that idea out the window. Seth Rollins is not the fifth man. He denied both Sami and Solo tonight because Solo asked him to be on his team. And he said, no, I am not going to team with somebody who is nothing more than a make-believe tribal chief. And he walked away. So Seth Rollins is not the fifth man. Jimmy Uso had a little interaction with Braun Breaker backstage in the middle of the show tonight after Braun Breaker and Sheamus had a face-to-face. Jimmy Uso wanted to talk to Braun Breaker about what? Gee, I wonder what. Being that they need a fifth man, Braun Breaker, as the fifth man, works because of the situation that we got with Jacob Fatu. Clearly, the stare down between Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu was planted there for a specific reason. Braun Breaker has been heavily promoted and put over by Paul Heyman. This may come as a direct order from the wise man. We don't know. It certainly would make sense for Braun Breaker to be the fifth man. But then you look on Team Solo, who would be the fifth man on Team Solo if Roman's bloodline has the fifth man being Braun Breaker? There really is nobody on that side to oppose a Braun Breaker joining Roman's team. If we go Braun Breaker being the fifth man on Team Roman, more than likely we will get Hikuleo or whatever it's going to be in WWE. We'll get him on Solo's side for War Games. That is less than exciting. Now, I'm going to throw this out there. I mentioned this on Friday night. At least one of this I mentioned. There is a situation that's happening on Friday night that could easily be absolved into this bloodline situation. What if Solo Sikoa goes out there and asks Kevin Owens to be on his team for War Games? And on the other side, Sammy, Jay, and Jimmy ask Cody Rhodes to be on their team, once again, teaming with Roman at War Games. And it's Cody, Roman, the Usos, and Sammy against Solo, Jacob Fatu, the Tongans, and Kevin Owens. That's the way I think the pieces of the puzzle fit perfectly. Braun Breaker on one side, fine. What the fuck does he have to do with the bloodline outside of a 3-second stare down with Jacob Fatu and the fact that Paul Heyman poured him over on NXT last year on Title Tuesday. Who gives a shit? Who remembers that? Nobody remembers that. You and I remember that. Nobody fucking cares about that. But Cody and KO, now that makes sense. Cody has helped the Bloodline before. Cody teamed with Roman against Solo and Jacob Fatu at Hell in a Cell, or Bad Blood. Then you got Jay, who's cool with Cody, Jimmy, who's cool with Cody, and then obviously Cody and Sammy have a mutual respect for one another. But then you include Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens right now, who is not in the good graces of WWE management. Kevin Owens, who simply wants to cause chaos and destruction. Kevin Owens,
the same person that told
who,
you
for his actions, by the way, will not and should not get a WWE Championship match, because what the fuck has he done to deserve it, and what has he done? Because management is not going to reward him for taking out Randy Orton with a banned maneuver on Friday night via the pile driver. So what better way to get Kevin Owens in a stripped down, raw, unadulterated violence environment than putting him on War Games? Solo Sikoa, all he needs to do is convince Kevin Owens, hey man, I know you got a problem with Roman. I know you got a problem with my cousin. I know you want to get at him. I'm giving you the opportunity to join us for one night. You don't have to appreciate what we do. You don't have to respect us. But I want to come to you man to man. First of all, Cody needs to be announced over there. Cody needs to be announced first as their fifth man. Then KO can get announced, and he can have that kind of be the dangling carrot over Kevin Owens. Listen, Roman and Cody on the same team, you can do whatever you want to them. There's no rules. There's no rules. You can get at them in the best way possible, and both of them at the same time. I mean, it works. It just works. So I think that's the way that they go, and they're going to sell us on that. Because everybody's like, oh, Cody's going to defend the WWE Championship against Kevin Owens. Why? How? What does Kevin Owens have to do with the WWE Championship? Why would Kevin Owens get rewarded with a WWE Championship match? Because he took out Randy Orton just because makes Cody look like a fucking stupid idiot. You can't do that. And I know Cody would probably want to be part of War Games as many times as he can before he's going to hang up the boots, because it's his daddy's match. It just makes sense. Cody and Roman with the Usos and Sammy against Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa and his bloodline. That makes sense. I would rather see that than a one-on-one match with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Because what are you going to do? The predictable situation would be, oh, Cody defends the title against someone who doesn't deserve it. Oh, here's another outcome where Cody is going to win the match. Randy Orton's going to come and help Cody beat Kevin Owens, and then we're going to get Kevin Owens and Randy Orton because of what happened at Survivor Series at Saturday Night's main event 2 weeks later. I mean, it's just uber predictable, bro. It's super, super predictable. So why would you want to do that? I would rather put them in the War Games match where everything is just unpredictable. I think that is the way to go. So we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Thank you for joining me. We got 2,100 people in here on a Monday night, brand new week.
You'll find.
Thank you guys very much for joining me here on Monday night for the Raw post show, right here on Off the Script. Folks,
might as well skip some of it. See, hopefully I didn't miss anything.
there's nobody else that makes sense there. No, Bayley is not going to be on the babyface team because Bayley has nothing to do with anything here. Bayley's moved on from Nia. Or Nia, I should say, has moved on from Bayley. It's Rhea and Liv. That's it. But I stand my ground. We don't need a women's War Games match just to say the women got a War Games match. There's nothing wrong with the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Absolutely nothing. Now on the men's side. we got what we got on Friday night. Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, and the Usos against Bloodline 2.0. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and the Tongues. We left Friday Night SmackDown thinking that WWE was going to do 4-on-4, which would have absolutely been okay. Because this is the story between these individuals. Solo Sikoa teased a 5-on-5 War Games on Friday night when Roman said, well, I only... And then Solo says, oh, we have a fifth man. You know, our fifth man is Sami Zayn. Only for Sami Zayn to come out and haluva kick Solo Sikoa in the face, and then he rejoins the Bloodline as the honorary Uso. So it's those four against against Solo Sikoa's Bloodline. We come to Monday, and Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy are all together in the back, and Sammy and Jimmy have a little kind of situation where there's a little bit of indifference there. And then the discussion kind of sways in another direction, in the direction of we need to find a fifth man tonight. So they're doing 5-on-5. They're not doing 4-on-4. So the situation now is they have bypassed the tension. The story of the Bloodline was the tension between Sammy and Roman, Sammy and Jimmy, Jay and Roman, Jay and Jimmy. Sammy and Jay were the only two people on the same. They bypassed the tension to fast track Sammy into the Bloodline. Instead, they should have given Paul Heyman the story of uniting everybody. They bypassed that to speed to get Sami Zayn in the Bloodline. And now the story's become for the next 3 weeks, who's going to be the fifth man on either team? I'm sorry, folks. I would have done that the opposite way. I would have done that as far as the Bloodline goes. Let's kind of cohesively put these things all together. Claire, Naomi, and Io Sky. Those were the four women that stood tall at the end of Monday Night Raw. Opposing those women, it was Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, and Tiffany Stratton. So right now we got 8. We got 4-on-4. Clearly, you can see where they're going. Gee, I wonder who the fifth woman is going to be on either team. Gee, I wonder if Rhea Ripley is going to be on the babyface team. Gee, I wonder if the other woman who's involved with Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, is going to be on the heel side, 5-on-5. The only part of that women's War Games match that belongs inside of War Games is Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. That is not enough to say this deserves a War Games stipulation. It is haphazardly put together. It is so lazy. And none of these women have anything to do with being in war. Over what? What? Because the men have to do it, the women have to do it too. Yes, let's water down one of the fucking greatest matches in the history of the business because 10 women who don't belong in there need a fucking War Games match so we can call equality. I am always going to sit in the fucking corner on the side of creative that makes sense. You don't need a women's War Games if that's where they're going. Again, we're not confirmed. We're not even confirmed with that stipulation yet. But if you want to give me a 5-on-5 match, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a traditional Thanksgiving tradition, WWE Survivor Series tradition of a 5-on-5 elimination style classic Survivor Series match, which I feel they should have at least one of those matches on the card.
You don't know who the fifth man is at Survivor Series.
Just to get
The fifth
everybody
person
involved
is the same
in a way
person
that it
that,
makes sense.
he's coming after you.
That certainly
This is
makes
the
a little
same
bit more
guy who
sense.
told
They
you,
put in 10
what did
women
he
in
tell
a
you
fucking steel cage,
over
a
a month
double
ago
steel cage.
after you won that
It's a
title at
battle over
WrestleMania?
nothing.
He told you don't
Just to
ever
say we did it.
break his heart again.
Am I wrong?
But the fifth man is
No,
going to
I'm not
break his heart
wrong.
again. It's the same person that told you don't
Stop
ever break
ruining
his heart.
stipulations. Stop ruining great concepts. Stop ruining good matches for this haphazardly rushed, nonsensical bullshit creative. It doesn't need it. It's a joke. It is certainly a joke. Zero story. Zero. Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, whatever the fuck they got going on, one of the worst stories in the entire WWE. One of the worst stories in the entire WWE all year. Never mind just now. All year. It is lazy, lazy, lazy television. Then we got Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, who have done nothing with those tag team championships. They've beaten everybody that WWE's thrown in front of them. They have no story with anybody. Then you got Nia Jax and Naomi. Who gives a shit, man? They're wrestling on Friday night for the Women's Championship. There's no story there. Then you got Nia and Bayley. Candice LeRae and Nia. Nobody cares. The only part of that matters is Rhea Ripley more than likely coming back next week. I did not read the spoilers. And Candice LeRae. There's nobody else that makes sense there. No, Bayley is not going to be on the babyface team because Bayley has nothing to do with anything here. Bayley's moved on from Nia. Or Nia, I should say. He said Gunther knows he can't beat him.
He's been there forever. Has it been 20 years? Maybe it's been 20 years.
Now let's see what they say about Fightful. I'm gonna skip ahead.
Yes, she's back.
That's always unfortunate because you don't want to see back to instead of one. So I don't want it to be like the women's tag titles where it's just, you know, a sort of interesting ride because we've already seen this story play out between Damian Priest and Gunther, right? I think a lot of people were surprised that Damian Priest ended up being the number one contender. I know I was because I thought, what does this mean? Are we going back to Damian Priest as the world's heavyweight champion? Or is Gunther really going to get another W over Damian Priest? Like, what is going to happen here? Like, I'm feeling a little unsure about what's happening, right? Now, here's the thing, and this is what I thought was interesting. We don't often see Gunther in this type of scenario because what we saw play out today was Damian Priest talking he was the one that got all of his word in. He got all his shit in. Like, it was just Damian Priest saying, I already know exactly what you're going to say to me. You're going to call me street trash. You're going to talk about how you're better than me and this and that. And he went off, right? Like, went off on Gunther. And Gunther didn't ever actually say anything back. Of course, we got the part with Ludwig Kaiser coming in. But Gunther himself never actually said anything, never fired back to Damian Priest. And I thought that was interesting because, again, we don't often see Gunther in this scenario. He usually has some smart-ass response. He's usually going to say something that makes you feel belittled. That's what you think he's going to do. And this time he didn't. However, even though he didn't say anything, sometimes actions speak louder than words. And in this particular situation, the big action that spoke loudly was him simply shutting up Ludwig Kaiser and putting his hand on the microphone and basically just shutting him up, right? He muted him. That's exactly what he did. And so that was the part that did get me excited, though, because I've been anticipating this feud with Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther. So now I'm wondering if Kaiser is going to have some sort of role in this match with Gunther and Priest. Like, will Losers Championship. What is going to happen here? And I think the big thing we have to ask ourselves is how does Ludwig Kaiser play into this particular story that we're seeing right now? With because I feel like you're not running back Gunther and Damian Priest for shits and giggles. So there's got to be a reason for it.
Yeah, they did confirm that for Survivor Series. Interesting. I mean, listen, I like Damian Priest. It's just okay.
Does it make you
Interesting.
feel like he's going to win the title back again?
No.
See, I thought he might because what I've been seeing from people is I've been seeing some people online say that Gunther's boring, which I disagree with. I think Gunther's not your traditional, he's not LA Knight, okay? He's not going to go out there and be like, yeah, none of that stuff, right? Like, he's not that kind of WWE superstar.
He should.
But he's the kind that's going to go out there and kick ass, and people like him, and they respect him, and they enjoy his matches. Connected to the crowd in the same way that Jey Uso has with his yeet, or LA Knight with his yeah. So I feel like some people mistake that for boredom. Now, I'm wondering if WWE feels the same and they're like, wow, Damian Priest really got over, so what if we go back with Damian Priest? I don't know. I don't want Gunther to lose. I want to see Gunther continue this reign, and I want, if anybody defeats Gunther, believe it or not, I don't know. Maybe it's too soon for Ludwig Kaiser, but I would be interested more in that, but that would be maybe down the line. I don't know.
I would love to see Gunther do the LA Knight stuff in a feud with LA Knight, like him impersonate Judgment Day interference. Oh, so I'm gonna reserve judgment on this one. We'll see. It's just, listen, I am a Damian Priest guy. I think he has delivered at the top levels. I'm just like, okay, if this leads to another goddamn Judgment Day interference. Oh. Backstage, we see New Day with Truth, and then Pete Dunne shows up and goes off on our Truth.
I just thought about something. What if this is their way of getting Dominic as champion, where he does lose to Damian Priest, just so Damian Priest could lose to Dominic? Because you can buy with the whole Judgment Day drama that he could beat Damian Priest.
I am a big time fan of Dominic, especially after his media rounds he did recently. The dude is hilarious. He's one of the funniest wrestlers there is. I don't know about that.
I'm just saying.
Right now.
You would do it.
Of course I do. I watched him put the title on Miz as well a few years ago. So Pete Dunne ends up defeating because Xavier Woods is ringside and they have a little bit of tension. And Kofi doesn't want Xavier's help. He does not want him there. Wants to do this on his own. And Pete Dunne ends up winning with bitter end. Clean as a sheet, just Kofi getting in his own head, worried about Xavier Woods. I'm still into the dissension and all that stuff. I don't think they'll split. I don't think they'll have a feud, but it's at least something for them to do. And it's one of those stories where their story progresses by them losing. So Pete Dunne picks up a win here, which I think is important in the long run.
Yeah, because I was thinking about how it's been a minute since we've seen Pete Dunne. And truthfully, I was remembering the last time that we saw Pete Dunne on Raw. I was very, very upset because he lost that Donnybrook match to Sheamus. And I thought then that was the wrong call. I thought Pete Dunne should have defeated Sheamus. And so I was remembering that, and that was like the last thing I remember for Pete Dunne. So then he goes out there and he had this match, and I'm like, great. Love that Pete Dunne got this win, but he really got this win just to further the story with Xavier and Kofi. So it makes me wonder, like, all right, well, don't really expect anything for Pete Dunne because he was just there to help out this story. So part of me was happy that he got this win, but then I knew that it really wasn't about him. It was about them. Which I'm fine with. I do like Kofi and Xavier Woods, and I'm liking the story. I know that eventually it's going to culminate. What did you, do you know when they're doing that 10-year anniversary show? That's coming up, right? I don't know when it is. I don't know what date it is, but we all know that we're expecting the implosion to happen there.
It can't be far from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't be far from now. Jay Miller says, if Liv is in a War Games match, when is Io getting her match versus Liv for the title? Jesus Christ. I also want to know when the hell the War Raiders are getting their tag title match at this point, because Finn Balor and JD haven't defended it in ages.
Are they the number one contenders?
Yeah,
right?
they won the tournament.
Okay.
Gosh, Judgment Day have defended their tag titles on TV one time since winning them in June.
I mean, we're not surprised, are we?
So stupid. It's so dumb. But I would imagine
These
that
titles,
she'll
the
get the
tag team
title
titles are
shot
now
afterwards.
they're already devalued and they've been worthless.
Oh man, what do we got here? We've got a lot of bloodline related stuff, but we have tensions in Judgment Day leading to Dom and Carlito versus the War Raiders next week. Again, not the tag title match yet. Can't do that. War Raiders are going to face and beat Carlito and Dominic along the way. How do you feel about that? About the word in the or the a little bit of dissension being teased in the Judgment Day.
Girl, I have been wanting them to end this Judgment Day storyline for the longest time now. I'm sorry, but the key people in this are Liv and Dominic and now Raquel. Carlito and JD McDonough and Finn have been incredibly they just haven't added anything anymore. They haven't added anything more. I felt like I was kind of happy when I started to feel like Finn was going off on his own for a second, and I got excited about that. But I just don't feel like the other members are really contributing enough, and I think it's just holding back the act at this point.
I have a very strong desire to see this whole thing end now. Like I'm ready to see them all go their own ways.
Except Liv, Dom, and Raquel, though, right?
Liv, Dom, and Raquel, I like them together.
Yeah, me too.
Because listen, one of those ingredients was in Judgment Day like a couple months ago, so that's their own thing. If Finn and JD want to keep teaming, that makes a lot of sense to me. If Carlito wants to hang out with them, sure. I'm just ready for that. I'm ready for that to go. We got a lot of build for Survivor Series. Now, fun fact, Survivor Series, I will be on a plane flying, as I was last year, flying from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, here to Lexington. I'll be staying at a hotel, getting a rental car, going to an event. Unfortunately, I'll be protected with Nord. There's no sponsor that I use more while I'm away than NordVPN. Laptop, my desktop, all that good stuff. Couldn't survive without it. It's fast as He's saying the same thing that he said before. You know why I gotta have this match. I need it. And Adam Pearce is like, I promise it's gonna be done. We'll do it next week. And it's set. Listen, Seth was a part of a grander story as well. But I love, like, these two are not finished with each other. They are tied together now.
They are. And here's the thing, like, I was so mad at Crown Jewel. Like, I knew. I get it. I understand that Seth Rollins had to get his revenge back from Bronson Reed, taking him out for however long it was that he was out. I get it, 100%. But damn it, I did not want to see Seth Rollins defeat Bronson Reed. I'm sorry. I felt that Bronson Reed needed to win that, and I was scared. I thought they were just going to call it a day. I didn't think we were going to get anything more with this story. I thought we were just going to move on from here. I wasn't sure if this was continuing or not. When Seth Rollins was doing an interview, I was like praying. I was like, please tell me Bronson Reed is going to attack him, and I get some sort of signal that this feud is ongoing, that it's going to continue. And then when all of this unfolded here today, I was so happy because that means this is continuing, and we are going to see Bronson Reed defeat Seth Rollins, because ain't no way Seth Rollins is defeating Bronson Reed again. And if he does, I'm going to be really mad. So Bronson Reed for the win here. I'm so excited about this. I think they're doing a good job with them.
I agree, and it gives a kayfabe reason to keep Seth Rollins away from the title picture a little bit, even though he's perpetually going to be in discussion for that.
I also want to point out one more thing that I almost forgot to mention, but that in-ring promo that we got from Bronson Reed, we don't often get in-ring promos from Bronson. I thought he did a really good job. You know the people powers that be, they look at that stuff. How you handle yourself in the ring doing an in-ring promo in front of a live crowd. They either eat you alive or they don't, and the crowd either cares about you or they don't. And I thought Bronson Reed did a good job in that situation.
5 people on Friday. But I'm sitting here wondering.
Everybody was talking about it on my SmackDown post show. They were like, "Who's the fifth person? Who's the fifth person?"
I'm sitting here wondering, why the hell do they need 5 people? If neither team knows who their 5th person is, why the hell do they need 5 people?
Because 5 is a nice number. I don't know. Don't you want to go like this? 5 instead of 4?
What I don't want is someone who has no business being associated with the storyline being involved.
You know what this means now, right, Sean?
What? The Rock and Nicoleo?
No, 5 selection now be $4.
No, hell no. I mean, listen, I have had to talk Jimmy out of increasing the price a number of times. Mr. Acosta says, where the heck is CM Punk? No Survivor Series plans.
Is he in Hollywood right now? He's doing like Hollywood projects.
I get all the right ways. And listen, sometimes they get them through.
So you're saying you're good at lie detecting?
Yeah, you ain't that good at lying.
I'm just saying, I should have done that the last 5 years. Outscoop you.
Bagarov says, we'll miss this duo on Monday, Tuesdays for me, Indian time zone. But I usually watch the podcast later in the day, wish Denise the best. Excited for Ibu. Listen, I am as well. Like I said, if Denise ever hits us up and says, you know what, I feel like doing the post show with you guys.
Yeah, I'm doing the Steve post show.
No. Listen, anytime you say, Sean, I want to join in on a post show, and you happen to not be doing one, you're always welcome to join one. But Sammy asked Seth Rollins to join Team Bloodline, his Team Bloodline. And Seth goes, no, the next time I see Roman Reigns, I'm going to be stomping his skull into the back. I got no love for him. Screw you over. I can't believe that you're doing that. I love the continuity here. There is no reason for Seth Rollins to be anything but by Roman Reigns. Not only that, Seth was competing against him and The Rock at WrestleMania. They don't put him on himself. Seth Rollins sacrificed himself as Cody Rhodes' Shield and missed a lot of time because of it. Then later on, Solo was like, okay, I noticed that you said no to Sami Zayn. How about you help us out? And Seth's like, we've had our past and all that stuff. And I'll never team with the Roman Reigns, but I definitely won't team with one of the Roman Reigns. Ooh, this was all good shit, Denise. I loved all this.
I became a bigger Seth Rollins fan tonight. I like Seth Rollins, right? But I'm not like a big Seth Rollins, like, oh my God, he's my favorite wrestler, right? But damn, after today, I was like, applause, Seth. I want to applaud you because you have backbone, Sean. I like people with a backbone, all right? We were just talking earlier about, being very firm on stances, and I love that Seth Rollins was very firm on his stance when he said, I remember exactly what Roman Reigns did. I am not going to stand by him and be on his side. And he warned Sami Zayn, like, you should not be doing that either. I love that Seth Rollins had a backbone. And then when Solo Sikoa approached him, he wasn't going to join Solo Sikoa. Come on, man, that wasn't going to happen. But regardless, we were all anticipating the big moment when he explained why, and he went there. He said, you are a what did he say exactly? Rip off of Roman Reigns, something like that. Want to be Roman Reigns? That was a great moment because that's the big thing that everybody has been saying about Solo, and it becomes part of the story. It becomes part of the character, and it was a really good, simple, straightforward burn. So I liked it. I thought they did a really good job of not making us think that Rollins was gonna join, but at least entertaining the idea enough on the show and adding an extra layer to the storytelling of these guys are trying to find their 5th member.
Oh man, yeah. I thought this was really, really fun. And then, actually, I'll go to Jambeard's super chat, by the way. Says, I never watch Raw anymore, but seeing clips of Seth being asked by both teams, I have a feeling Bronson Reed will get recruited by Solo and forcing Seth to team with Roman in Team OG.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but here's what should happen if that happens. When those two get in the ring together, both bloodlines can sit back and be like, God damn, what's wrong with them? And force them out of the match. Like, they are too wild for even both of these bloodlines. They're like, what did we bring into our shit? At least we know each other and we're family. These two guys are crazy. I would love it if they did something like that, but I don't think they're going to go that direction because Braun Breaker has an interview, and let me tell you the levels in which I love this, Denise. This put over Speed big time.
Yeah, my whole thought during this was, why the fudge do I care about Speed? I want to hear the Intercontinental Champion talk about Speed.
Drew McIntyre come
Well, Braun Breaker cares about
beat
Speed.
Boston
So
Reed in
he's putting
5
over
minutes.
Speed.
I like.
He's saying, I could have
I
had
mean,
that
Boston Reed
title.
doing so
I
good.
want
He
these
come Drew
titles.
McIntyre.
And
5
because of
minutes.
Sheamus'
Really?
old ass,
He
I don't
fought
get two
Boston Reed in 5 minutes. I didn't like that.
Sheamus
Think
goes,
he
yeah, I might be old, but I'm
beat
still with your
Braun
ass.
Breaker. I didn't like
Now
that
they got
either.
an IC title match.
First of all, you got to beat
That's
the
fine.
final champion.
But then Jimmy Uso shows up, and what I like is Braun Breaker is a reasonable human being.
Boston Reed
Like, he's not
again.
just like flying
The
off the
fourth
handle.
match,
And Jimmy
again.
goes,
Fourth time I've seen this
let's
match.
have a conversation.
Why
And this is one that Ibu actually like sort of prophesized on Twitter. And I'm like, listen, this is at least very interesting. Braun Breaker, possibly with a bloodline team. And then I would want him to immediately spear Roman Reigns because I want to see that match. What do you think about all this, Denise?
So first of all, Braun Breaker and Sheamus is going to be like hard hitting because that's what they're both known, right? Of course, you got Braun Breaker with the extra speed, Sheamus with the the brutality. So you're going to make for it's going to make for a very fun match, that's for sure. I don't know what to make of it in terms of like Braun Breaker. I wasn't even expecting him to be Intercontinental Champion again so soon. So I feel like I haven't had a very good grasp on what to expect now from this second reign here. Only because I wasn't expecting him to lose. I wasn't expecting him to gain the title back so fast from Jey Uso. I'm looking at this and I'm just hoping that they don't end Braun Breaker's title reign again so fast. But part of me is also on the fence thinking that it may actually happen. But I don't think it should because then you're just going to keep stomping on Braun Breaker's momentum. He already lost it to Jey. If you put the title back on him, you got to keep it on him for a while now. No ends, ifs, or buts. I don't think he should be losing the title.
Yeah, I agree. Braun needs to win. Needs to win this, and I would love to see. I mean, Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns, I think, is a WrestleMania main event in the future. By the way, but I don't. I think that who ends up showing up is somebody we haven't seen. Also, Final Testament confronted The Miz, carried him to the ring. Miz kept saying, "You don't want to do this. I'm over it. I'm completely fine with the Wyatts. Let's move on and forget this ever happened." Karrion Kross is like, "No, they broke Paul Ellering's legs. So I'm turning on the Wyatts who show up, and the Wyatts get their asses whipped." Listen, whether you like the story or not, Final Testament real bad. They needed this so bad. Like, I needed the effort in the booking, Denise, to match the effort that Karrion Kross is putting forth.
Because I love Karrion Kross. They need someone to carry
himself over as well. I don't know where this is going to go. The Wyatts were laughing as Karrion Kross left the ring and looked, but if anything, Final Testament needed this big time.
I think what's helping, regardless of how you feel about The Miz, is having The Miz involved has added at least the crowd to react to the Final Testament, because I don't even think the crowd was really reacting to the Final Testament. At least with The Miz there is some sort of reaction from the crowd. So I'm like, all right, let's I haven't been too crazy about this, but I'm trying my hardest to give it a chance. I thought Miz coming out with a bloody eye looked really creepy. I don't even know what went wrong there. But I truthfully just, I gotta see it continue. This is just not my cup of tea, but I'm trying here. I'm trying to enjoy it. I just thought it's super goofy that one week you have the Miz getting kidnapped in the most like silly way, and then you have him this week and he's all fine, and then he gives one cheap little chair shot, and that's supposed to be the big distraction for the Wyatt Six. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just not for me.
I like Scarlett and Nikki in this. Like, for this story, I'm watching Karrion Kross like will this into relevance. Like, it was something that it seemed like Final Testament was just fodder for the Wyatt family, and I'm watching him get himself over on Twitter, and a lot of people are seeing something that I've seen out of him because I've been interviewing him for 6-7 years now. And like I've seen this personality shine through just a number of times, and a lot of other people are seeing it now. And not only that, like when he delivers lines, I believe all of his lines. I believe everything that he says. So I wasn't as interested in this 3 weeks ago, and then when Karrion Kross sort of took charge of it, I was like, okay, let me see how this goes. We have Jambeard says if Timmy recruits Braun, how will Jay feel about that?
That's true.
I feel like it should be a bit of a swerve, and like it should have been Jay's recommendation. Well, I know it
because I think the we fucking tired of hearing about. You keep doing that, everything but now you need to
we're out.
And the more you keep doing that, well, here are the highlights here. Highlight one night one on 20 minutes. Alright, so these are the best day 7 for Monday Night War. American Made and LWO agreed to a match next week. Kofi and Xavier continue to butt head. Denver controls on gaining gold. Braun Breaker, Pete Dunne shot Kofi can wouldn't win. Final Testament, The Miz, bring us back for the Y6. The Bloodline trying to recruit who can be the 5th member. Seth Rollins said no to both sides. They're testing with Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio.
Zayn looked up and down the roster and said there was no one else.
1997, Funk. Raquel off the apron, and Bianca gave Liv Morgan a KOD. Belair just pinned the Women's World Champion on Monday. Why she would pin Liv when Raquel was right there? Don't look at me. It was kind of weird. Nia attacks the champions after the match, but now here comes Io Sky. At least she's on Raw. Here comes Io Sky to make the save with a springboard drop kick. She also knocked out Tiffany Stratton. Io Sky, Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill, they all work together to take out Nia Jax, and 4 baby faces stand tall to close the show. So I guess now Io is friends with Bianca and Jade. Okay. Champs are chumps when it comes to the 2 women's champions at the end of the show. Liv Morgan gets pinned. Nia Jax gets taken out. Not only did they not make a big deal about this main event here tonight, but I look at what we had here at the end of the show, where you just have all these women running out there. And again, it's just a mix of different feuds and different stories. You know, look, I get it. They want to have a War Games match for the men. They want to have a War Games match for the women. They do it with the Royal Rumble.
The crowd think it was chicken. The
Nation Chamber, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring. Like, I get it.
The crowd did not give a fuck about the
But
War Games
this is
because it was
just
fucking
so,
boring.
it's just put together so
The crowd came out
slapdash.
the men. The War Games
And
was fucking
I'm
boring.
sure it's
Another
because
reason why
Rhea
we don't
Ripley
leave.
got hurt. Again, I am almost positive we were in for Team Rhea against Team Liv at Survivor Series. And when Rhea went down with the injury, they panicked and they said, all right, we have to come up with a plan B. We got to to do a second War Games match. And so this is what they came up with. But, you know, what we had here at the end of the show, it just felt like the fucking wild card rule was back in effect. And I have hardly even mentioned all of the brand crossover recently. Like, I don't even really bring it up anymore. It is what it is. But, like, I'm watching this and I'm like tonight it was really noticeable. And it's like, this is ridiculous. But that's what they came up with as a plan B when Rhea got hurt. So you could see the formation of a women's War Games match coming into focus. Of course, what we saw here at the end was you had Io and you had Naomi and you had Bianca and Jade. That's 4. So they're going to need a 5th. I could see that being Bayley. In fact, why wouldn't it be Bayley? I mean, Bayley and Naomi are like this. So it will probably end up being Bayley and Naomi and the women's tag champs, which could be interesting because Bianca does not like Bayley. Bianca, even now when they're both babyface, Bianca still does not like Bayley. So that at least might be mildly interesting. You have Io Sky in there because Io effectively takes the spot of Rhea Ripley. Because Rhea Ripley was next in line for that championship match. Now it's Io Sky. So basically, Io has replaced Rhea in this scenario. She may be the team captain. As far as on the heel side, you got Nia. Let's see. You got Nia, Tiffany, Liv, Raquel. Who would be the 5th heel on that team?
Get it away.
Who would be the 5th heel? Probably someone. Well, I mean, it can be Raw or SmackDown, I guess, because you got 2 and 2. I don't know. I don't know who the heel will be, but that looks to be the women's War Game. But I would have to think Bayley would be on Bayley. So, yeah, this was not the best episode of Raw tonight. I mean, it was solid, solid enough. .5% thumbs up, 28.5% thumbs down. X up.
Legitimately, as soon as the bell rings, Priest crashed shoulder first into the ring.
Well, I'm gonna stop the video. I made this a lot longer than I thought it would be. I'm gonna stop the video. And until that time, I'll see you guys later. I think I will do an AEW Dynamite review. I will play more Batman Arkham Knight. I will play Mafia 3 on my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys look those up. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button. I'll see y'all later.